Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. So back on the Victor safe again today, and today we're going to go ahead and try to put some decals on this thing. I've told you before, there's some decals on the front and on the inside, and I was fortunate enough to find a gentleman who actually specializes in doing the graphic work and making reproduction decals for antique safes. In fact, he sells a lot of these on eBay. I'm not sure if he has other locations. I found them on eBay. But I went ahead and purchased a set of the 4 decals that I need for the safe. And, I haven't actually seen them on something yet. I'm just looking at them through the paper here, but they look like they're very well done and very good reproductions. I've noticed a couple little small nitpicky things, mostly with this stuff that's just lettering. The font is really close and probably doesn't matter, but it's not an absolute perfect match. And the biggest thing is that I noticed is the C in this Victor, and then in some other places on here, kind of had a little curly Q on it. And even though he looks like he did kind of do something special there, it's not a perfect match. And the other thing that I noticed is on this one here that says Victor Patents, when you look at the old safes, it actually says Victor Patent, just one, no S. So that's no problem. I'll take a pair of scissors and just snip the S off and take care of that. But, besides that, they look excellent, at least what I've been able to tell so far. We'll know a lot better once we get them on the safe. And these are vinyl type decals. And so we're going to apply them kind of like you would any other vinyl decal. And the first thing we need to do is get our surface here prepped up. And, it's pretty clean now. And I'm just going to use some alcohol here to just kind of come in here on a rag. Well, this is a brand new clean rag, and this is going to just take any grease, oil, dirt, whatever off of the surface. And the alcohol evaporates very quickly, so it doesn't leave behind really any residue. So anyway, that's what we're going to use to clean it with, and it is now clean. And I'm going to get you zoomed in here, and we'll start laying out these decals and getting them in place. All right, so the first thing I want to do here is find the center of the door, and it's measuring 18 1/4, so half of that's going to be 9 1/8 inches. And I'm just going to take a pencil here and just kind of put a line on here, enough for me to see when I'm laying this out. But that will just wipe right off with the rag here in a little bit. So that gives me something to work off of. And here's the decal we're going to put on here first. And again, it just says Victor Patent. Originally, this decal said Victor Patents with an S. So again, I cut the S off to make it match what it should be. So let's see how long. Let's see here. We are from end of letter to end of letter 6 inches. So the center there is going to be 3. I'm going to mark that on the actual decal, the center here, so I know where that's at. Sorry, I know I'm off camera, but I only have so many hands. All right, so there's my mark. Here's my mark that I put on the safe. There's that mark. And I haven't peeled the backing off yet. I'm just wanting to get it lined up straight, and it looks pretty good to the eye, but I'm not going to trust my eye. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of blue painter's tape here, and I should have already cut that off, pulled that off. Oh well. I don't have enough hands. I'm just going to put this down here on the end. That's going to kind of hinge off, and where I can pull this off here in a little bit. And now I need to check this to make sure it's running straight. So let me grab a square, and I think I've got one long enough that we can fit on there. Pull that door open just a bit, and I can come in here with this square And I'm going to line it up right along the bottom of that lettering. And looks like it needs to come up just a little bit on the end over here. It's pretty straight right there. Okay, I'm going to take another little dab of tape here. This time though, I'm not going to actually stick it on there, but what I want to do is make a reference that I can lay that back onto. There we go. So when I come back in here and lay this down, I can peel the back off and come in here and get that lined up right on the tape, and I should be able to come across there and line it up. So let me grab all right, so we're ready. What I'm going to do now is pull this back, and I'm going to very carefully peel the back of this off. Okay, I see a little bit of stuff down here where I have my rule in here, so I'm just going to wipe that again. Still got a little alcohol residue on this. Bring this over, line up. All right, so now come in here and we'll press this down real good. I'm just using a little rubber spatula looking thing here. It's actually what I use with my Bondo type material. And I want to get that pressed down real good and tight. And peel that back. All right, looks nice. And that vinyl is raised up just a little bit, but I don't think it's going to matter. We're going to put a couple of clear coats over the top of this when we get through, and that should help kind of keep everything stuck in place. All right, let me figure out where the next one goes, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so we're back in here now, and I've already got the second decal position where I want it on the safe. So again, I got down the side here a hinge. I lined up the center here with my mark up here. So the center's in there, and then I took my square, and I don't really have anything really good straight to work off. So I worked off the corner of the badge here and just lined that up. And the way this thing is, even if it's off just a little bit, I don't think it's going to matter a lot. Anyway, I've also came in here and wiped down the back again with alcohol. So we should be ready to go. On this one, I got some pretty fine details. So I'm going to rub this actually on the backing here to make sure that everything's transferred over there real well, because there's some small lettering in here that we got to get off. So let's go ahead and see if we can pull the backing off here. Okay. Hinge this back over. Make sure we're lined up here at the top, which we are. And I'm going to just kind of work from one side to the other. Make sure I don't get any bubbles back behind it. And now again, take my squeegee here. I'm going to work from the inside this way and then come over this way. You can use a credit card or anything that's kind of flat and hard to transfer this over. Of course, and having a nice, good, prepped, clean surface to put it on is just absolutely critical when doing these vinyl decals. I think that's probably good. Yeah, that turned out really, really nice. Hopefully you can see that good in the video. I get a close-up on these before we get out of here. Very nice artwork on that. Very nice reproduction. I can already tell one thing I'm not real crazy about is this lettering here is a nice, bright, shiny gold, whereas this isn't. And I wish that the lettering matched here a little bit better. So anyway, it's not terrible. It's not bad at all, actually, but it would be nice if this had that same shine to it as this lettering here. All right, so next decal. Before we go on, there is one other thing I want to mention here, and I am planning on coming back after all this is done here, and we're going to put another pinstripe that kind of goes in between here. You know, because I didn't have my decals, so I was doing the pinstriping to get measurements off of. I was scared to go ahead and put the pinstriping in there because I wanted to be able to get them properly placed. But now I kind of got something to work off of. The final detail will go down below here, and it'll be above, it'll be inside the pinstriping, but I can now kind of measure where that's going to be. Final decal here, just real quickly, kind of rub that before we go. Again, I've already cleaned behind this with alcohol, so we're going to carefully pull this one off. And up there. All right. All right, I like it. It looks great. I'm sitting here looking back, standing back looking at it, and it actually looks really good. I'm very happy with the results. Again, I'm going to come in here and we'll put another pinstripe that goes around in here very soon. I'm thinking about doing that inside pinstripe in red. I saw a couple of safes on the internet, Victor safes, that had a red stripe around the middle, and it just kind of gave a little more color to it. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do here too. But this is, I'm very pleased with the results. So we got one more decal to go, one more decal that goes on the inside of the safe, and we'll get in there and get it in place. So this is the final decal, and it is on the inner door inside the safe. And again, I've already got it positioned, set up. You saw the process before. I've already cleaned everything behind this. So we're going to go ahead and pull off the backing. Again, another very nice reproduction on this decal. I'm very happy with the way this looks. Excellent. Here's a close-up of that little inner door inside the safe. I have gone in here and cleaned this up, and I took some Renaissance wax and just kind of polished it up a little bit. And you know, when I first looked at this, quite honestly, I wasn't very happy with it because the color just wasn't right. This, you know, against the black, you could tell, and it looked really faded. But then I got to looking at this, and let me put my key in here. When you open up the door, the inside of the door is kind of a greenish color, and it matches the color on the outside of the door. So thanks to the power of the internet, I got online and looked at a bunch of pictures of old Victor safes in original condition on the internet, and quite a few of them had this green color on the inside door. So this is the original color. You can see the pinstriping, it's a little faded, but all in all, it's there, and I'm going to leave it like it is. We're not going to redo this. And many of the comments I heard from you guys online were encouraging me to leave the inside alone. And as long as I had the Renaissance wax out, I wiped down the whole inside of this safe, all the wood and everything, with some mineral spirits, got it cleaned up real good, and then I took that same wax and just kind of waxed the inside of this. And I'm actually pretty happy with the finishing here. It's not perfect, but it's original, and it's not in that bad a shape. And, you know, one thing I noticed, you can see the wear here, and again, looking at pictures, there were originally some little wooden drawers that pulled out of these compartments, and I may actually make some wooden drawers to go back in here. I think that'd be a nice touch. Also had some people comment about the stains on the floor, and those actually aren't stains. This is a piece of carpet. Have you ever heard the term carpet bagger? You know, they used to make those bags out of a kind of a carpet in the early 1900s, and this is that type of material. And it looks like it had some type of a floral pattern on it, but it is just worn down to the bare threads, and I'm really debating what I'm going to do with that. I could leave it like it is, but it really doesn't look that great. Again, looking at pictures of these old safes online, there was no set pattern of this carpet in these safes. Every one I see looks like it's different, which leads me to think that Victor was probably just buying some scrap carpet and putting in these, and whatever they got was what they got. So anyway, I'm seriously consider taking this out and replacing it back in with some more carpet. Now my problem is I need to find some appropriate carpet of that type of material. So if anybody knows of a source of some of that, you know, I want it to be new material, or it could be old material but new old stock. I don't want something worn out like this, because this really, it looks bad. But I'd like to put it back like it is. Now, a lot of guys have also commented about lining the inside of this with felt, and you know, I gave that serious consideration, and I actually have some black felt that I purchased for lining some jewelry boxes that I made many years ago, and it actually has an adhesive back on side. It's kind of like a sticker. You pull it off and just kind of stick it in there. I could put felt down on the floor, but it's just not like the originals. I'd really rather find some carpet, but I think I'm going to leave the wood finish in here instead of putting felt in, guys. Again, it's a restoration. I want it to be as close to original as possible, and this is the original finish in here, and it's not that bad. And again, once I replace this carpet, I think it'll look really nice. So if anybody has a source for antique carpet, it'd be nice if I could find someone that had some of those old carpet samples, you know, because that'd be about the size, those square, you know, it'd be about the size of like a sample book of carpet if I could find something like that from that time period and replace it. So anyway, we're making progress. Safe project coming right along. I'm liking the way it looks. Outside, inside, and keep right on going in. It's turning out real nice. So that'll wrap up another episode on the Victor Safe. Again, we're getting real close, guys. I'm really to the point where I just need to get my dial finished, and hopefully we're going to get on that project real soon, recasting the brass, pouring a new dial and machining that out, and hopefully we'll be a little more successful with this one than we were the last attempt. Another thing that we're missing here is it had the little brass acorns on the hinges here, and I've got some pictures of examples of those, and I'm kind of debating on how I'm going to make those. It's not a real regular shape, and I want them to match. Quite honestly, it's probably a job that's more suited for a CNC lathe, where they will really all match each other and be the same profile. Could be done on a manual lathe, but it would really probably require some form tools to be ground to make them all match and look right. And or using a tracing attachment or something like that. And I'm just not set up to do that, so I don't know. I got a friend that works out at the tech school here in town that has told me if I ever need anything made out there on their CNC stuff. So I may check with him and see if he'd be willing to help me out with machining some little brass acorns to go on here. But other than that, we're getting pretty close to being done with the safe, and I'm excited. It's looking great. Again, we got the pinstripe to put on, but we are making good progress. We'll talk to you guys later.